Me, Mario!
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
What do you think of when you hear
Mario!
perhaps it's one of the 2D side-scrollers of old, or maybe even one of the newer polished 3D entries, or even a spin-off, but what I think has and always will be this. And this. And this. And okay, so it's a wide range of things. But all of these things have one connecting factor. And no, I'm not talking about buff Italian men. I'm talking about innovation. This word probably defines the entire Mario franchise. I mean, think about how many things Nintendo opened the doors to with their flagship series. They popularized platformers, began the kart racing trend, made party games a big thing. They even used Mario to kick off one of the greatest video game crossovers of all time. Hell, if Mario didn't exist, most of the games we see today would probably be much less interesting in terms of gameplay or might not even exist at all. But I think we all know was probably Nintendo's biggest innovation yet. Super Mario 64. Similar to the Switch back when it had only 2 games, Mario 64 was the reason most of the world's population of children wanted N64s. You look at the jump from Super Mario Bros. To Super Mario World. Yes, it is a huge upgrade relating to graphical improvement and gameplay improvement, but at its core, these 2 games are very much the same type of game. Still side-scrolling platformers, both are still 2D and feature pixel art as their main art style. One just happens to have more squares than the other. Now you look at Super Mario World to Super Mario 64. Where the hell did all the squares go? Instead of being a bunch of... Nintendo went from 16 bits straight to 64 bits. That's why it was named a Nintendo 64. Nobody wanted a Nintendo 32. But none of that really matters because, you know, gameplay. And when we look at the gameplay, why can I see Mario's ass? 64 was a truly magical thing when it released. With an added dimension, it really felt like an entirely new experience, a new type of game. While it wasn't the first 3D platformer, it was the first to make 3D platforming playable to the main audience it catered to. Instead of starting you off with a loud, playful tune, you spawn in a relaxed, calm environment just because of how much different Mario's movement is. Even though they have always been building upon Mario's movement to fit different scenarios, what's different here is that instead of just introducing a second type of jump, in 64, Mario has a huge arsenal of moves that he controls amazingly. You can tell so much time went into trying to perfect 3D movement in this game. When I replayed through Mario 64, it was easy to forget that this was even the first 3D Mario game because of how well the movement was. Triple jump, backflip, long jump, everything here has basically stayed the same because there was nothing to improve. It was already smooth enough for modern standards. That being said, the camera itself is pretty clunky, but Mario for the most part set a standard for all upcoming 3D platformers. You play Mario 64 and then look at Bubsy 3D. What the fuck? But this is just the beginning. We enter the castle and then... I'm home. Ask any random person who likes video games and they'll probably recognize this theme. Whenever I hear those first notes, I just can't help myself but get a little happy and nostalgic over it. Now we take a look back at Bubsy 3D and the memories I made exploring the castle way back on the DS are some of my fondest to this day. Going through paintings, catching the bunnies, jumping into the abyss. This game was the reason to own a DS. But let's talk about the levels themselves. While it is true that many stars repeat, playing the game normally by choosing the path you want to take, every level truly feels fresh. Instead of calm nature sounds of the castle grounds or the relaxing melody inside the castle itself, when you drop into a level, you get this more cheery, exciting tune. Whether it be running through the snow, finding your way to a mysterious underground maze, traversing the sand-filled, scorching desert to find a forgotten pyramid, Mario 64 takes you anywhere from soaring through the sky to diving underwater, and that water music, oh baby, listening to this is just a magical experience. I remember when I replayed Mario 64 and fell into this level. This rush of nostalgia, that feeling you get after forgetting something you enjoyed so much but took for granted. And it's very strange because I didn't grow up with an N64. My first Nintendo home console was a Wii. I didn't know what a virtual console was. I didn't care. Instead, I ended up playing the DS version, and now that I think about it, this game has been released in some way every console generation except arguably the GameCube, and while it may seem lazy, I feel like it's kind of important to remember this game's legacy. When the millions of children first saw this new 3D adventure, it was probably insane. It's the innovation that really makes this game special. It's like that feeling you get when watching an absolutely massive event, and while this may sound silly, it gives that similar feeling to watching Neil Armstrong take those first steps on the moon. Okay, hear me out here. Mario's jump to 3D was the opening to a massive door to the unknown, a symbol of the possibility of something greater. Just as landing on that space rock was a symbol of the future of humanity itself, Mario 64 paved the way for 3D Mario. No, I'm not saying the impact of Mario 64 is anywhere near that of the moon landing, but both had similar reactions to their set audiences, and that feeling of wonder, with this technology, what could the future behold? Whether it be for Mario or for the future of humanity itself. Watching people react to the moon landing is this surprisingly emotional experience. Seeing everyone celebrate, an entire world united for one fucking amazing event that would go down as one of the most important moments in human history, everyone cheering in pure bliss, the same bliss a child would have, playing their favorite game. Just as this old footage is, Mario 64 is a capsule for these memories. When I pick up this game, it lets me experience the same joy all of those people did back when the N64 released. The same joy I had sitting on the ground trying to pass this stupid ass Rainbow Road level when I had an underdeveloped baby brain, walking through the castle, listening to the exciting music pushing me forward, relaxing after leaving a level with a brand new star and saving the game, hell, even just failing to do triple jumps or long jumps. I experienced the same learning curve others did back in the day. The fact that this same memorable journey can still be replicated by some random kid 25 years later is insane. Just as it will apply for 30 years after its initial release, 40 years, an ironic 64 years. It may not be the most polished, it may not have the greatest level philosophy, it's not even my most nostalgic Mario game, but the feeling of innovation Mario 64 entails is fucking beautiful. And then you look at Bubsy 3D and